Hey everybody, how's it going? Stabman coming back at you once again, and today I am so tired because I decided to wait until way too freaking late. Way too late to do this video. So if I sound a little bit weird, it's probably because I'm really tired. Really, really tired. I literally turned the camera on and the first thing I recorded was myself saying, "I'm so tired, why am I doing this?" And now I'm whining and moaning about how tired I am. So anyways, I still couldn't help myself. I had to go out and do some hunting. Because the place where I'm moving, they don't have many places to, media hunt. They don't have any. They have like one or two thrift stores in the immediate vicinity. I believe they have, I can't think of anything else really that they have that I could use. Like there's a Target. I could go to the Target and that's about it. Oh, wait, they also have a Costco. And Costco sometimes has some good stuff. So it's gonna be, I think, mostly me shopping online when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm sure I will go out to some new thrift stores here and there whenever I have the opportunity to, but it's gonna be few and far between compared to what you've seen from me in the last in the last year really. So yeah, keep that in mind as I do this. And honestly, the reason that I wanted to go out and do this last little hunt was because I'm not going to get the chance to as often. So I wanted to, have a farewell tour, if you will. I wanted to go to some of my favorite places to do some media hunting in this area and try and find some good stuff, like my last hunt for this particular area. And that doesn't mean I'll never come back to this area again and do some thrift shopping, but it's not going to be a common occurrence for me, I'll put it that way. So there, now it's all out there. Now I've said it all, I don't just say it again. Anyways, the first place I visited, even though they weren't having a big sale, was Half Price Books because, well, I gotta say farewell to Half Price Books, man. And unfortunately, they didn't have a lot there. I was hoping I might find at least one or two Blu-rays that I wanted, but nah, they were like picked through, even though it's not a sale day. But I did find a few things at least that I wanted to pick up, and the first thing I found actually was in the 25-cent bin, and it was Lewis Black on Broadway. This is a Lewis Black comedy special. I believe it is about an hour long, and well, it was a quarter. I love Lewis Black, first of all. He does great stand-up comedy. Second of all, a quarter. Yeah, I'll do that. And it was in really good condition. The disc is in really good condition. So I was like, yeah, that's good enough for me. That'll do the trick. And then I went over to the dollar section to see if I could find anything in the dollar section. Usually I am not able to find anything over there. But this time around I did end up seeing the movie with Jack Lemmon. It's a movie starring Jack Lemmon and Judy Holliday. Yeah, I almost said Judy Lemon because I'm that tired. But yes, Judy Holliday, Kim Novak, Jack Carson. Yeah, there are some notable actors behind this. The filmmaker Mark Robson, I don't remember. I swear he's done something else that I recall, but I don't remember what it was. So yeah, either way, I looked this up and it looked like it was out of print. I don't think it is out of print. I think you can get it like on a 4-film set, but this particular release of it appears to be out of print, and it's not available on Blu-ray, and it was only $1. So I said, you know what, for $1, yeah, that's a pretty good price for a movie I've never heard of before, never seen. Maybe I have heard of this. I swear it sounds somewhat familiar, like maybe I saw it on, didn't see the movie, but I saw the listing on one of those cable TV guide things at some point. I don't know why that pops in my head, but I feel like that's the last place I saw the title. Anyways, Jack Lemmon, a Jack Lemmon movie I have not yet seen, by the way, for $1, and it's got fairly decent ratings on IMDb, so I went ahead and picked it up for $1. Not a bad deal. Last but not least, a movie that I have been looking for quite some time, wanted to have in my collection, but didn't want to pay too much for it because I like it, but I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. That would be What About Bob? I mean, everybody can agree that, at least at the time in the 90s, when this first came out, most people thought it was a pretty bad movie. Upon rewatching it, I haven't rewatched it in a long time, mind you, but I think the last time I saw it was early 2000s maybe. And I recall thinking that was like a second viewing. I recall thinking that, man, there are actually a lot of memorable moments in this. And sure, it's not something that like keeps your attention very well, but if you can pay attention to the movie long enough, I think it's fairly rewarding. And for $1, not bad. Not bad at all, especially to get some pretty funny Bill Murray in there for you. And as somebody who has a mental disorder, I am absolutely positive that watching it now, I will probably get even more out of it than I did back then. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be totally offensive to me now. I don't know. I highly doubt it, though. I think I'm going to like this one even more, you know. That's what happened with As Good As It Gets. I loved that. The first time I saw it, I only saw it like a few clips of it on like TNT and stuff like that. But, you know, everybody was talking about how great As Good As It Gets was and was winning awards and everything, and I'm just thinking to myself, this isn't really that good. I'm not that into this. I get why people might like it, but I don't think it's that good. Having watched it recently, with that whole understanding now of what it's actually like to have an anxiety disorder, a mental disorder that completely affects the way you live your life and you can't help it. Understanding now that that's what was different about me, it rings so much more true than it did back in the day. Because back then I wasn't looking at the subtext. Now that I see the subtext, it's just like, holy shit, this is like literally the best movie for that I've ever seen. The second best I think would probably actually be Silver Linings Playbook, but yes, very good stuff. Anyways, that's sadly all I was able to find at Half Price Books Outlet, so here's the last haul from Half Price Books Outlet, guys. Not too bad, honestly, because I am very interested in seeing this, very interested in revisiting this, and 25 cents for some Lewis Black, not too bad. But then I went over to my favorite pawn shop, the one that I usually get the 6 for $20 deal from. And the last time I went there, I wasn't really able to find anything. So I was kind of worried that might happen again. Thankfully, I did find two things. I was hoping I would be able to find another 6 for $20, right? But no, I only found two things I wanted. Still pretty damn good prices for what I got. First off, I found The Men Who Stare at Goats. I do quite enjoy this movie. I don't think it's like the best movie ever. A lot of people think it's a really, really, really great movie, and I won't begrudge them that, but I'll just say, personally, I think it's like a 6.5 or maybe 7 out of 10. It's not something I'm going to watch a whole heck of a lot of, but I do appreciate it. I do like it enough that I didn't mind paying $4. It was just $4. So $4, not a bad price. It was in really good condition. Why the heck not? And yes, it came with both the DVD and the Blu-ray, so they're both in really good condition. So not bad at all. Not too shabby. And then the next one I found here, sadly, wasn't in as good of condition, but it was still good condition enough that I figured, with how the pricing is with it usually, I mean, sometimes on Amazon you can find this for between $4 and $6. Sometimes. But usually when you do, it's not with free Prime shipping or anything like that. So you're actually going to be paying $4 added to that for shipping. And, you know, when you factor all that in, it's like, well, I got it for $4 here. $4. So it's a much better price, I think, than I would have probably gotten it anywhere else. So with that said, I picked up Annabelle. The before The Conjuring, there was Annabelle, or as Cinema Sickness will say, Annabelle? I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually like this movie, but I did. I thought it was a really good movie, a really good follow-up to The Conjuring. I loved The Conjuring, and I really liked The Conjuring 2 as well. So, yeah, I'm one of those people who likes these horror movies, you guys. I don't know why. I can't really say they're truly excellent, but as like haunted house films, and again, a haunted doll film in this case, they're pretty good. I think Chucky took the haunted doll thing to an entirely different and a new level, but that doesn't take away from like the origins of the haunted doll story, if you will. If you liked things like the, what's his face, the guy from Goosebumps, you know, the doll from Goosebumps, like, yeah, if you like stuff like that, I don't see why you wouldn't like Annabelle. Really spooky, creepy stuff. I enjoyed it. I don't know why people hate on this so dang much, but yeah, for $4, not a bad deal. Unfortunately, the Blu-ray was a little worse for wear, and I say that, and when I say that, I mean that it literally just has a few small scratches here and there, and none of them looked like anything that would affect playback. I don't think they will. Hopefully they won't. I have had Blu-rays in the past that literally had like holes dug into them. I did buy that, but I ended up returning it and getting my money back on that. But before I got my money back on that particular Blu-ray, I tried it out, and it worked for half the thing. Half the Blu-ray was still intact. It wasn't until you actually got to the part where information had literally been dug out of the disc that it wouldn't play anymore. So Blu-ray is a pretty hardy, pretty resilient media format, and that's one of the reasons I like it so much. And that's another reason that I picked that up, because I knew, you know, a few light surface scratches, probably not going to be a big deal. It's Blu-ray. Anyways, after that, I went over to Value Village, which sadly, I mean, there is a Value Village kind of, I won't say close, but it's not necessarily as far away as this one's going to be from where I'm going to be living soon. Unfortunately, it requires me to cross a toll bridge to get there, and I'm like, yeah, do I really want to pay to go to a, like, just, not just gas, but also additional travel expenses just to get to a Value Village? Like, I don't know. Probably not, unless I'm going there for a lot of other things, you know. If I were going there for a huge shopping trip, where I was going to several different stores, then I could see myself doing that. But otherwise, probably not going to happen too often. So, yeah, I had to go to Value Village, and quite frankly, I think I hit there the best, the biggest. So, definitely going to be missing Value Village. It's always been my favorite thrift store, even when I was younger. I felt like it was way better than Goodwill, and now that Goodwill is starting to charge ridiculously exorbitant prices on all their media and pretty much everything else as well in the on the West Coast in general. Yeah, they are definitely so much better than Goodwill now. If they were better than Goodwill before, they're just like head over heels, undeniably better in every single possible way now. So, I'll put it that way. And for those of you who don't know, Value Village is essentially Savers. I know there are probably more Savers on like the East Coast, stores called Savers. Here they're just called Value Village. It's basically the same store, and you'll get that. You'll understand that the second you see the stickers. Stickers are unmistakable at either Savers or Value Village. They both look the same. So anyways, The first thing that I found here on Blu-ray is Now You See Me, and yeah, see the sticker there? Does that look familiar? If you're familiar with Savers, then yes, it looks very familiar. Only, as you can see, Value Village at the bottom there. I have been wanting to see this for quite some time. Originally, I didn't really care to see it. It didn't really seem like something that I'd be interested in. But then I saw a clip from the movie, and I was like, you know what? That actually does look pretty interesting. So ever since I saw that clip, I've been wanting to see the whole dang thing. And now, the extended cut was sitting there for $5. Not the best deal. I mean, it's when I can get something like this for $4, when I get a Blu-rays for $4, and sometimes at half-price books for $2.50, sometimes it feels like that $5 price tag for a Blu-ray, used Blu-ray, is a little much. But we got to be honest here, all right? We are still in the days where a $5 price tag for any Blu-ray is a pretty damn good deal, and especially for a movie like this. Even though you can probably find it for between like $6 and $7 on Amazon, $5 is not too bad. I think that's a very fair price for this. I don't know if I'm going to like it that much, but for $5 I'm willing to take the shot. Why the hell not? If I don't like it, I can always sell it. But I doubt I would. I would just be like, you know, I didn't like this movie, whatever. It was only $5, whatever. Same kind of thing that I do during Black Friday when there's a $5 Blu-ray. Sometimes I'll just take a chance on something, hoping that I like it, and just see what happens. You know what I mean? And that's very much the case here, as it is with the other Blu-ray that I found at Value Village here, The Way, Way Back. And this one, oddly enough, I mentioned Black Friday. This one actually was $4 on Black Friday a couple of years ago. I think it was like actually 3 years ago. Probably a year or less after the movie actually came out. So yeah, I at the time was like, I don't even know what that is. I'm not really that interested, whatever. I had heard some okay things about it. It looked somewhat interesting, but I didn't really want to spend at the time, didn't really want to spend $4 on it. Not even that big of a deal. To spend $4 on a Blu-ray, come on. It's rental price, man. But at the time, I wasn't very interested. I thought it looked interesting, but I personally was not very interested. Time has passed. I'm a little more interested now. Now I'm thinking I really should have bought that for $4. So, well, let's pay a little more to make up for that, I guess. I don't know. If $5 is not a bad price for this, I'm sure if I waited, maybe I'll find it on Black Friday for $4, but it's not that big of a deal. $5 is a pretty good deal for this. I'm pretty happy to have found it, and the disc was in immaculate condition. So I was like, just as good to get this. Why the hell not? Especially since it's one of the last times I'm going to get to go to Value Village for a long time. And then I was looking through the DVDs, and I found a Frank Sinatra film I've never seen called The Detective. This is a 1968 crime slash, I think, might be a little bit of a noir, but probably more of just a crime movie. And it's a Frank Sinatra movie that I've never seen. And actually, reading the synopsis sounded very interesting for a movie that came out in the late 60s. I mean, I was reading it and I was thinking, I wonder if this is technically part of the New Hollywood, because it very much sounds like a movie that you would expect to see in the New Hollywood. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is, but it definitely has that feel to it just from the synopsis. Maybe I'll look into that as I watch it, but yeah, to my knowledge, not available on Blu-ray in any way, shape, or form, so I picked this up there. They sold it to me for only $2. All my DVDs, all the DVDs that I got here, were only $2 this time around. I don't know why, but Value Village, sometimes, it's like, they have a sheet. They literally have a laminated sheet, and on that sheet, they have like 3 different prices for DVDs. And some people who work there know which one of those is which, and others don't. And when they don't know which DVD thing they're supposed to scan, typically they will scan the one for $2. I love those times because I'm sure that some of the DVDs that I have are not supposed to be $2, but whatever the case may be with that, I am definitely glad to have gotten this for $2. Not a bad price for a movie I've never seen. Looks very interesting. Frank Sinatra, can't go wrong. And then as I was looking through, I was actually looking up the DVDs and Blu-rays that I had found there, right? The DVD and Blu-rays. As I was looking it up on my phone just to see what the ratings are on IMDb and what the whether or not it's on Blu-ray and stuff like that, you know what I mean, with the for the detective, I just so happened to glance over and look at the DVD that was sitting right behind the detective, which I had just put on the shelf as I was trying to look it up, right? And lo and behold, the one that was sitting right behind the detective was something I'd never heard of before. So I was like, well, that looks interesting. What is that? And as I pull it off, I look a little bit closer and I see Bob Hoskins is in this, and Ray Winstone, and My Cocaine. My Cocaine. Sure enough, I decided to go ahead and pick up Last Orders because it looks interesting. Never heard of it before. Got an amazing cast behind it. Apparently came out in 2001 or 2002 or something like that. Just had never heard of it. Done by Fred Schepisi, I think is maybe how you pronounce his name. Not entirely sure. But I can't remember what else he's done. My memory is failing me because I'm tired. But he has done a few other notable things. One or two, at least. So I definitely wanted to give this one a shot, especially since it appears to be out of print. And of course, not available on Blu-ray. So I went ahead and took a shot. $2. Not a bad deal. Last but not least, the last DVD I found was another case where I thought I had already looked through all the DVDs, right? I'm like, okay, I've looked through all the DVDs, and then I go to look through the VHS. And as I'm getting to the bottom of the shelf of the VHS, I look over, and sure enough, kind of like going over into the VHS section just a little bit are some more DVDs that I missed. And standing out among them was a DVD that I've been on the hunt for quite some time, but I haven't wanted to get it for the whole time because every time I see it, every time I find it, it's way too expensive. As in, like, this is something I don't want to pay more than $5 for, and it's always at least like $8 to $10, which I can kind of understand because it is a miniseries. It is a Stephen King miniseries. It is a very popular Stephen King miniseries. But at the same time, I'm a cheapskate and I don't want to pay more than $5. So $2 is not a bad price for all 4 episodes of The Stand. Yes, this is one of the earlier releases of it, but it's in like this nice silver case with... These are those weird DVD cases. Here, I'll show you. You know these, as I would like to call them, the Big Mac cases. Hey, you got this bun, you got the disc, which is the meat. You got this bun, you got the disc, which is the other patty. And then you got this bun. It is a Big Mac case, alright? Let's just be honest here. These are the Big Mac cases. I know you're all thinking the same thing. You're going to start calling them a Big Mac case too. You know it. You know it's the Big Mac case. But I mean, this is such a great series. Directed by Mick Garris. Mick Garris is a pretty fantastic director, and he did a really good job with these. I don't know if any new interpretation of this would ever be as good as this, honestly. And it had such an amazing cast behind it. And this actually has commentary with Mick Garris, Stephen King, Rob Lowe, Ruby Dee, Miguel Ferrer, rest in peace, Jamie Sheridan, and editor Pat McMahon. So, pretty cool. I've actually never heard that commentary, so that'll be interesting to hear for the first time ever when I finally get around to it. But I recently rewatched this on Netflix with a friend of mine. It was his first time watching, and he felt like, yeah, it's okay. The whole time he had never wanted to watch it because it just didn't seem to strike his fancy, right? But eventually he just kind of broke down and was like, fine, I'll watch it with you, you know? And he agreed that it's better than he thought it would be, right? But he still didn't necessarily love it. Personally, I think it's at least 7.5 out of 10. Maybe even a little bit better than that. I think it still holds up even to this day. So, yeah, I actually recall when my brother recorded all 4 episodes as they were airing on TV. He recorded them all on VHS tapes, thinking that they would never actually get another release or be released in any other way. So, yeah, I guess he was wrong, but that's for the best, right? I mean, now I finally got this, and I mean, if you go and look it up online right now on Amazon, they've got the new version of this out there, and it sells for about $10. So, yeah, even this version, you'd be hard pressed to find shipping included for less than maybe $6-7. So, I'm really happy that I found this for $2. Definitely a price I'm willing to pay. That's $1 per disc. That's 50 cents per episode. That's fantastic. MMON. That spells fantastic. So, yeah, that was the last thing I found there. Very happy to have found that. Very much. It's something that I've been wanting in my collection for a long time. So, very cool. And then, of course, we had the last orders. Weird little movie I've never heard of before that looks pretty interesting. The Detective. A crime movie with Frank Sinatra. Done and done. The Way Back and Now You See Me extended edition, as my nose gets clogged up for some reason, for $5 each. Not bad prices. Maybe not the best prices they'll ever have or ever have been, but pretty good for middle of summer. And then at the pawn shop, of course, found Annabelle for $4 and Minister Goats for $4. And last but not least, in the half-price books, my last shop at half-price books outlet for who knows how long. What About Bob for $1? For $1. And Bliss Black, Black on Broadway, 25 cents. Not bad. All told, I think I spent less than $28 on everything you see here. Oop, blocking it all off. Everything you see here. That's a pretty big haul for $28. Not bad. But then, I'm so tired right now that I can't say anything else. I don't know what else to say. That'll do it for me today. Thanks for watching, you guys. It's been fun doing these amazing, sometimes just kind of interesting hauls from the thrift stores in the area. But I think that's all about to change. I think the kind of update videos I do from now on are about to change significantly, at least for the foreseeable future. Maybe a year down the line things will change. Who knows? I can't make any promises. All I can say is I'm not going to stop collecting. So, yeah. That'll do it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Peace.